I made it to North Cascades National Park. People here call this the Alps of America. Personally, I think it reminds me a lot of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. There's no entrance fee, it runs along a state highway, and there's beautiful views of green mountains. But I've found in this journey to every national park that it's really hard to plan just one day at a national park this size. So being overwhelmed with all of the research, today I stopped at the ranger station and I let a ranger decide my day. Here is what he came up with. Decided to try something new today and let the park ranger design my day. This is what we came up with. I'm going to do an out and back drive across the park. The road is actually closed at the far end because there's wildfires. On the way out, I'm going to stop at the town of Newhall. There's a waterfall and a few other things to check out while you're there. Then I'm going to go to the Diablo Lake lookout. There is a hike to Thunder Knob, which he said has a great lookout point. I'm either going to do that on the way out or the way back, not sure. After that, I'm going to drive through the North Cascades Highway. The drive takes you out of the national park, but he said it has a beautiful view of the mountains, and that is definitely something I want to see. On the other side of that, you have Rainy Lake and Blue Lake trails. Those will be beautiful trails to take. And then there's a Washington Pass overlook. This stop is going to be the last. The road is actually closed at the far end because there's wildfires. He said they're using Highway 20 as a barrier for the fires, so they're actively fighting the fires after the national park. From Washington Pass, he said we'll be able to see the smoke, which would be an interesting way to see it, but we won't be in the way, which is extremely important. I really appreciate all the information he was able to offer, and it should be a great day. You can't tell me that this doesn't remind you of Smoky Mountains National Park. We have made it to stop number 2. This is the Diablo lookout. I didn't see the trailhead for Thunder Knob. That must be a sign that we need to check out this lookout and then go do the hikes at the lakes that are a little farther on. If I decide that I haven't done enough hiking, then we can definitely do that on the way back. But we've made it into the mountains. Until now, I've only had mountains that are just absolutely plastered in pine trees. They're just green and gorgeous. We have now made it into the rocky, snow-topped mountains of North Cascades. I mean, this is what their brochure looks like, and we've finally gotten close to this view. Also, the color of this water is absolutely gorgeous. It's this emerald teal color. It's so pretty. The color is just absolutely amazing. I have never in my life seen water that color. This is actually a reservoir. There's a dam on the other side that you can kind of see off in the distance, so it does concentrate more, but the river that we saw that was flowing is still this color. It's absolutely amazing. The trail to Blue Lake is 2.2 miles and climbs 1,500 feet. Not gonna do that, but this is the trailhead. You do need your park pass or pay a $5 day use fee if you come here. I'm sure it's great. Also, massive black flies. I missed the other trailhead because I was distracted by a pile of PCT hikers. They were all eating food at the trailhead because the sign offered a little bit of shade. The PCT does run through the park. We're pretty close to that Washington Pass overlook. Let's go take a look at that and then work our way back to the park. This is absolutely crazy to me. Being from Ohio, we just don't have wildfires. So the fact that there's still 2.5 miles of road that's open and this is what it looks like right here is crazy. What's the mountain on the brochure? Maybe a different angle, but I think that's it. Okay, this is interesting. There's a sign about the history of the highway, and it started in 1893 and wasn't finished until 1972. So 79 years in the making. Started out to be a mine to market road, later was promoted as a way to get east side hay to west side dairy farms, and ended up as a national scenic highway, which is why we're here. This would be absolutely beautiful if it was clear. You can see just all of the erosion in the mountains. I did talk to two people who were just at Crater Lake, which is where I'll be in about a week, and they said some days are like this and other days are clear, so hopefully we get a good day over there. The Midwest is definitely representing today. I've talked to 2 people from New York, 2 people from Cincinnati, and 2 people from Kentucky. This is just such an odd thing for all of us, so it's interesting to know that we're all here checking it out. Okay, halfway point check-in to see what we did or did not do based on the ranger's recommendations. We can check off Washington Pass and that Blue Lake Trail because I'm not doing it. We're gonna go back to Rainy Lake and check that out. We did Diablo Lake. Now another person did recommend to me that I do Ross Lake Overlooks. So I think based on the spirit of the day and having someone else choose what I do, I need to go check those out. That means I have 2 stops on the way back. The first is at Rainy Lake, which is where the Pacific Crest Trail crosses the road. So we'll have to see if there's any hikers out. And then the second is the Ross Lake Overlooks. And then it's back to town. I'm at the Rainy Lake trailhead. My goal of not using bug spray lasted all of about 10 seconds. I had to stop while putting my shoes on to use bug spray for the flies. You do need your passes, so I have my pass out. I was trying to get confirmation on how far it is, and the people who just came this way said it was like 15-20 minute walk. They said the view is beautiful, totally worth it, and I said even with the flies, and they said The flies are also like dopey. I've caught like 3 or 4 of them in my hand. I don't want that. I just want them to fly away. I don't need to catch them. These are spruce trees. Wow. The ranger mentioned that I would get into some old growth forests, and that is definitely true. The moss growing on some of the trees in this park is absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me some of the Spanish moss that you'd see in like Savannah. Somehow the combination of the spruce trees and the different color bark, it just makes the whole forest a completely different color than we saw at Mount Rainier. Crazy. Did it. Is it possible that I'm the only one here? I'm gonna put the camera down and do a time lapse, and then I'm gonna run from all these flies while you get to look at this amazing view. It is insane. I gave up on swatting away the flies, and now I'm trying to outrun them again back to the car. Absolutely beautiful lake. Very happy the ranger recommended it. You guys said I would like the ferns in Washington. I do. So I've been on the Appalachian Trail, but I've never been on the Pacific Crest Trail. This is the closest I've been. So we have to take at least a few steps here. How pretty. The Pacific Crest Trail runs along California, Oregon, and Washington from Mexico all the way to Canada. I always follow YouTubers as they hike it. It looks absolutely amazing. The closest I had been to it before this was in Yosemite, and I wasn't even on the trail, just near it. Of course, it's super famous because that's where Cheryl Strand hiked in Wild, so a lot of people hike it because of that. Don't worry, it was definitely an option this year, but I decided to go to the national parks instead. Now I'm in a van instead of a tent. Somehow I did survive those flies, and we have one more stop. I also got out some snacks in case we ran into more thru hikers, so I could actually give them something. If they're hiking north, they are so close to the finish, but a little snack never hurt. Now that we've circled back, I haven't seen any. So we'll see if we see any on the way out, and if we do, we'll give them a snack. The fire that we saw the smoke of, the reason we can't go down that road is they're using the road as a barrier. So they're using that as a stopping point. When the fire gets to that point, they want to make sure it's out and it doesn't cross that line. I'm driving down a road by the visitor center, and I noticed the result of that. So the left side of the road is totally green, unburned, and the right side looks like it had a fire probably 10-15 years ago. The burnt tree trunks are still up, but the rest of everything has grown in, so it's kind of hard to spot, but it's interesting to see that the road was the barrier and that it worked. Our final stop today here is at the Ross Lake Overlook. It is absolutely gorgeous, just like Diablo Lake, but a little farther away. I had an absolute blast letting everyone else decide what I did today at the park. Thank you for coming along with me today, but I need to head back into town because tomorrow I'm going to Olympic National Park. It's gonna be my last national park in Washington, and I absolutely cannot wait to see it. I'll see you there. The outtake of all outtakes right now. Earlier today, there was a work truck in front of us, and it said do not pass. There was like 50 cars lined up behind this thing. I took the opportunity to eat my lunch while driving, 5 miles an hour. When I got close enough to read it, it said do not pass, line paint is wet. And I thought, well shoot, I need to stay in the middle so I don't get any paint on the van. So yeah, that didn't work. Also, just so you know, this is where I noticed it, and it is all in there. Oh no! Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. What was I doing? I was getting ready to leave, but I think I'm gonna try and wash that off real fast. I know the van needs washed, but this is not the approach I wanted.